Jimmy White is best known as being the leader, number 31 of the factory Kawasaki three-wheeler team, and then even into the four-wheeler days. Was able to do an interview with Jimmy White at the Legends 2000 event in Ashtabula, Ohio. We talked about what it was like racing three-wheelers, being a factory Kawasaki rider back in the day, some of the battles he had. It's very well storied, the battles between Team Honda and Kawasaki and Marty Hart and Jimmy White. Also, the transition to four-wheelers. What was he doing at the time and where did he see the sport going? We also talked about who he thought the greatest ATV racer of all time was.
Jimmy White. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. Originally, I live in Yorba Linda, California right now.
Give me your racing history, like your background. What championships you've won? Any major races that you've won?
As far as championships go, the main three, the ones that I'm the proudest of, are the Mickey Thompson events, 83, 84, and 86. And led the series in 87 for about half of it and just went backwards from there, ended up fourth. But it was a good run. It was the last year that I actually raced, and that was the only year I raced on a four-wheeler.
How'd you get started racing ATVs?
From Des Moines, Iowa, and so we used them for fun back there. And with the 250Rs, we all used to ride 110, stroke them out and everything. And we started racing the thing. My dad promoted races in Des Moines at a little arena, like almost a speedway type track. And we all raced there starting off, and then just seeing that the race scene was out in California and seeing that Dean Sundahl and some of those guys were out there racing. So it was like, let's go out there and try it on vacation sometime. Hey, Logan.
All right.
That's my son.
All right. Out of all the ATVs that you've ridden, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, the new bike you've got here, what's the favorite ride that you've ridden or raced?
As far as a favorite bike, you know what? They are all good in their own respect. When I first started off with the Kawasaki in 83, had an advantage over the Hondas because the new Hondas weren't out yet, so I kind of had to step up on them. And then in 85 was kind of a little bit behind the scene because Honda came out with their new one, and so they're all good. I'll say that Tecate 4 wasn't one of my favorite vehicles in the world, but this thing's good. Roll's done a good job here, and Chris Christian with the motor, but my favorite would have to be the first Kawasaki, the 83, because I had an advantage and it was fun. I mean, it was a good bike.
Now, you've been racing for a long time. You've been all over the country racing. What's the wildest story that you've had with your racing? Like
on the track, you mean?
Yeah, on the track, or even just something crazy. I know traveling to the races, a lot of things happen too.
I don't know. I could go on and on.
Just give me one race that just stands out.
One of my favorite, I'd have to say, is probably Raleigh, North Carolina. My first favorite was the one that I won up in San Jose the very first year that they had it. First year I went up there, I was just some privateer, Joe Schmo from Des Moines, and it was like showed up the back of my van and ears on and everybody, and actually won that pretty handily. That was a lot of fun, but actually in the actual race series, 86, we were down in Raleigh, and it was just a gnarly track, and wasn't able to, all during practice, they had doubles and triples and stuff, and it was just, I guess three-wheelers, I didn't really see them be made for that kind of stuff, and I was struggling all day, and won my heat race without jumping all that stuff. And when in the main event, my dad was down there, and my dad said, you know what? If you don't jump, if you get a good start, you don't jump that, you are going to get jumped on because there's about 10 guys jumping it. I said, okay. And I actually went in there thinking, you know what? I'm just going to get a start, see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. Got the whole shot, and I came up to that jump the first lap, and I jumped there every lap for 20 laps and ended up winning the race. Marty was right on my butt, and it was one of the cooler races because I had no expectations to win going into it off the start.
There's a really big double there, wasn't there?
Oh,
I remember in the
70 or 80
magazines.
feet. Oh,
And there's a shot of you and Mendenhall in the air together.
yeah. Steve started off in second. Steve helped me out a lot because he slowed Marty down. He started having some problems, and when Marty came up to him, he slowed Marty down a little bit. Otherwise, Marty might have got me by the end, but man, it was just so close. Because if I would have been top 10, I would have been happy. But it was a gnarly track.
Now, it's been a long time since you've been racing. 87 was the last time you raced quads.
Right.
How is it getting on a bike and getting on the track?
It is a lot of fun. This track here, it suits more my style of racing because you slide the bike, whereas, you know, some of these other tracks, these bikes aren't really made to slide like the other ones at most of these tracks. This thing is just, this is a cool track, and I'm glad to be here.
What's the difference between racing back then versus racing now?
Biggest thing is the quads. I mean, the vehicles, how detailed they are and how much they hook up. Nothing like what we had. I mean, our three-wheelers were tricked. Our four-wheelers, it was the first year that they really came out. It was good, but they weren't like super good. These things are just, I mean, they are just so tricked. I mean, it's a 20 grand vehicle, you know, they expect a one-off, you know.
Other than yourself, who's the best ATV rider that you've ever seen?
You know, I like to look at it as eras where Sundahl was the best at the beginning. I'd like to think as myself was the best in the middle. And then I'd like to think Marty is the best, you know, at the end of the three-wheelers, like 86. And then, of course, Denton, in my mind, still is. I mean, I think he could run with the pros today. He's that fast still. So I would say one of us four.
All right. Where do you see the sport of ATV racing going?
I tell you, as far as the sport, I was fortunate enough to go to Orville last week and watch what John Pellin and George put on there, and what a fabulous job. And that's what we need more of. If we get more promoters to do things like that and fill the stands, you're going to get the Pepsi-Colas and the people like that to want to sponsor events like that. Unfortunately, it's got to be fan friendly. That's the bottom line. It's just got to be fan friendly. This is a great facility, great racetrack. It's great racing. It's not the most fan friendly, you know, and it's all day and stuff. So we need more of the Saturday night shows with 6,000 people and more of a show. And tell you what, sponsors will come. There's no doubt in my mind, sponsors, you know, will come, because for them to drop 50 grand or 100 grand is nothing in an event like that with 6,000 people. That's a good captive audience that they really need.
So there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can hit the button below to subscribe. Don't want to miss out. We've got a ton of old Huevos videos and different ATV related things that I'll be posting on here. You're not going to want to miss it. You can check out some of these other videos. I've got interviews with a lot of ATV legends, as well as, like I said, tons of old Huevos content. So make sure hit that subscribe button, and hope you enjoy the videos.